There we go. Okay, Amarava. Okay.
No, up to the Mishnah. Up to the Mishnah. Mishnah on Pei Alpha Alf, right?
What?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we got up to. Yeah, top line. Yeah, so interesting chumrah chiddush here from Beishamai. Right, so Kosav L'Garish Zishtoi, the guy writes a get to divorce his wife, but Nimlach, and he changed his mind. Right, now he's a kohen, okay, in honor of the new kohen that was the new Suffolk kohen that was born today, I guess. In honor of that, we had this mystery. Right? So the cost of the guy is just trying vanilla. So he wrote a get to divorce his wife, and he changed his mind. So Beishamai Omrim Paslam in a kahuna. That's it. She's pasal from the kahuna. Meaning, because since he had a havamina to divorce her, memela, that's enough of a get, and therefore she's out from marrying God.
Someone's not allowed to change their mind according to Beis Shammai?
Yes, according to Beis Shammai, you can't change your mind. It's wild.
Keep your thoughts to yourself.
No. He wrote the get.
Isn't she usher to Kuna the minute she marries?
Keep your thoughts to yourself, because once you actually write the get, you can't back out.
No, but you could still say the thoughts. You think according to Beis Shammai, it's because he wrote the get. No,
she's usher to Kahuna. She's usher to Kahuna as soon as she gets married to him.
What?
She's usher to the Kahuna as soon as she gets married to him.
What? No, she gets divorced from him.
No, but what's else? She's an almana.
She's not also to her husband.
But that's not what the Mishnah says.
No.
Yes, it is.
Meaning, if she were to become let's say he were to die. I think this is a shot.
That's what I'm asking. It doesn't say that in the Mishnah. Solomon Akuna.
Right, because even if she were to die, even if her husband were to die, which means she's only an almana, not a grusha, she's still considered a grusha. No, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times it says you know, a guy does something and then he dies. Doesn't say that here. So all right.
Exactly.
No, I'm saying, no, the fee Avi's saying the fee sheetas Beis Shammai. Does he have to get divorced from his? This part I'm not sure about. Do they have to get divorced? Do they have to get divorced? Can he stay married to her?
Not. She's pasal mina kahuna.
I know, but that means, pasal mina kahuna when? After she becomes an almana, or right then and there he has to divorce her?
Well, if she becomes an almana, he can't stay married to her.
Yes, very good, Rachamim. You really, yes. Sheesh, the brilliance coming out.
We're all going to have to bench Gomel now.
Hey, who has the mute authority? Mute. I think we need to mute someone.
Forget mute. I'm just going to remove Rachamim. Period. Rachamim.
He needs a timeout. He needs a timeout. He needs a timeout.
Right. That's for the timeout. Right.
Anyways, so
I put him in the waiting room.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Talk of that if they're mechuyev to get divorced. Anybody see anything on that?
It doesn't say anywhere that he has to get divorced.
Doesn't say it. I thought
I don't see that
he does not have to. I thought Pashi does not have to get divorced. But then, like Avi made me start thinking, like, okay, so why is he staying married to his wife? Right? I don't know. Okay, that's Beis Shammai shita. Tonight. Even if he gives a get on a Tanai, which is very strong, right? He actually gave her a get. And he said, I don't know, if the sun comes out to 3:00 tomorrow afternoon, this get kicks in, right? So that's mamash a get. But let's say the Tanai didn't work out. So then you think, okay, well, the guy, at least he still gave her a get, so she should be out. The loy nasa Tanai, obviously nasa Tanai. Oh. But like Nasa tonight, like Possum and Kuna, she's still not Possum from the Kuna because Lamaisa, there was no get given. Right? So Besham is very strict. Beisil is much more Megal. Fine. So Shalach le Rabbi Yosef Brei de Ramanasha Mitvil Shmuel. So he said to Shmuel, Yelamdeinu Rabbeinu, teach us. Yotzol of Kol. Let's say a rumor went out. Ish Ploini Kayin, Kosav get Lishtoi. This guy wrote a get to his wife. And she's sitting under him. That's a literal translation, meaning they're still married, and she's being mashamashim, meaning like she's just working as a regular wife. Mao, what's the din? Meaning they Lamaisa, he never gave her the get. He just wrote the get. Yeah. So, but the rumor is that they actually got divorced and they're still living together. So they asked Shmuel if he's mechuyev to knock this guy, to make this couple get divorced or not. So Shalach leit Teitze, he sent back, he said they have to get divorced, right? V'adovar tzarich bedika, but you need to check into it and find out if they were divorced or not. So Gemara asks, Maihi, what does that mean? What does it mean? She needs bedika. Meaning, what he meant to check out is, should we be mavatal a rumor or not? Right? Meaning, if you can go find out about the rumor, take out an ad in the newspaper and knock out the rumor and say, by the way, everybody who's saying that this couple got divorced, they did not get divorced. Right? He just wrote the get, he never actually gave it to her. So you can take out an ad in the paper or put it on your status or whatever it is and send it out, then fine. Is that what he meant? So when it says Nardo Asrei the Shmuel, Nardo was Shmuel's town, but Nardo Lamivat the color. In Nardo, they never did this. Meaning in Nardo, they let the rumors be rumors. They didn't try and stop them. So it can't be that that's what he meant. Ella, the Ikaru, Lenasina, Siva, maybe. Different places have different what we call sprachs in Yiddish, right? They have a different way of saying things. Right? They have a different way of saying things. So maybe when the rumor is that, right, meaning they call Nesina as writing. I think I said it backwards. Meaning, yeah, he wanted them to check out that does that area, does that city or whatever it is, when they say, oh, did you hear who wrote a get? This guy wrote a get. It means that he gave a get. Right? There's something, I was trying to think of an example. There's something that people call that they said, oh, he wrote a zav, he wrote something, but it really means that he gave it. But I can't think of what the example would be. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, if that's what the people in town meant, so Gemara asked, that can't be either. The ksiva gufa, mila karul ksiva. So let's say they call, if a gives his wife a get, he wrote that he gave his wife a get, right? The ksiva gufa, mila karul ksiva. For ksiva itself, they can call that ksiva too.
They refer to both of them. They refer to both of them as ksiva.
Yes, it's good.
Yes. It's just a plain K.
Correct, but for some reason they only put a K on it. It's fine. It's good. Enjoy it. Sorry. What were you saying?
They refer to both of them as ksiva.
Correct. I mean, you don't have any proof that just because the town do I keep freezing or just the screen freezing? Is it choppy?
You keep freezing a little bit, yes.
I'm saying the voice.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
It's the Motzei Shabbos thing. So let me just call in and then
Don't you call Rachman Shloim Zalman and find out what kind of baby he had?
Girl.
He's here. Tell you. Okay, can you hear me now? Good.
Yes,
Hopefully
we hear
that
you.
won't be choppy.
See, Yaakov.
Yeah.
So Matty Cohn used to say over, I'm going to call him tomorrow. I imagine if he used to say over in his share, there was a case in Brooklyn where it was a young married couple. He was a Kayan. They had a few children. And he used to work for his shver, and they had tremendous fights. Whatever happened, the shver forced them to get divorced. He threw them out of the business, and they forced them to get divorced. So they got divorced. So what did they do? They moved to the 5 towns, these people, and they bought next door houses to each other. And they live in the 5 towns, this former couple. Yeah.
Wonderful.
You told us this already. You told us this.
Okay. So,
With the same smile,
like-
with the same enjoyment.
yeah, well,
Yeah. Anyway.
the shver
Okay.
wanted to get kicked in the teeth. He got kicked in the teeth, no?
That's yeah. Listen, Shilas will say if they're allowed to do that. That's yeah. Anyway, we want to ask if he Karl in the Ksiva, like Ksiva Kufam, he like Karl Ksiva. Do we not call Ksiva Ksiva? Right? Meaning, so it could very well be that the get was just written; it was never given. So why are we forcing them to get divorced? So it answers in the Miglai Milsa to Karl and the Sina Ksiva, because if we find out Miglai Milsa, meaning if it gets revealed that they call Nesina Ksiva Dilma Nasan Kamni, maybe Tedetaka means that he gave the get, and then Tete they have to be divorced. Meaning, so it sounds like because of the stuff, so we're not sure is this rumor true or not, so we have to let him get divorced. And what it says, anytime a rumor goes out after marriage, so we're not chayshes for it. So here, what are we talking about? We're having a couple that's married, right? And then there's a rumor that they're not married. We don't believe a rumor because they're already married. So Gemara says, "My teitze nami teitze misheni." Gemara says that's true. We're not going to make her get divorced from her first marriage. We're going to make her get divorced from the second marriage, right? Meaning, if she got married to a kohen, second marriage, she got married to a, I'm going to say, hey, you're not allowed to stay married because there's a rumor that you were divorced, right? Meaning, obviously, we're talking about where he died, right? Meaning, what's according to this now? What's the case? They were married. Then there was a rumor that he wrote a get. Rumor has it that he gave a get. Then he died. Then she went and married somebody. So what Shmuel meant is that since there was a rumor that this guy divorced her, and that rumor came out before she was married to her second husband, so even though we're going to say that she was a widow, so why can't she marry the kohen? No, but since there was a rumor that maybe there was a get, so therefore she has to get divorced from the second husband, because the rumor happened before the second marriage. The Gemara says if they do that, then you're going to be mitzi laz on the first one's kids, right? Because what's going to happen? People are going to think that they were never married.
Why?
Yeah. Or meaning not necessarily married, meaning the kids that were born between the rumors and when they became when she became an almana, so they're going to say that they're halalim, right? Meaning the rumor went out that she got divorced. Really, the guy only wrote the get. He didn't give it. Then they had a couple of kids. Then he died. So now Shmuel is saying if she got married to somebody else, make her get divorced. So if that's the case, then any kids that first marriage are gonna be people are gonna think are halalim.
Why? They were if they were perfectly married, then how do they become halalim?
But because there was a rumor that he gave her a get.
I mean, like he gave her a get, and then there was subsequent kids.
Wrote it. He never gave it. He wrote it, never gave it. The rumor on the street was that they were divorced. Then they lived together, had a couple of kids. Then he died, right? Then she went and got remarried. Small thing, she has to get separated from that second marriage, since there was a rumor that she was actually a divorcee, not a widow. Right?
And what's wrong with marrying the second guy? Because the
I
second
don't
guy.
understand. Is the second guy a kohen or something? What's the problem?
As a kohen, yes.
Oh, the second guy's a kohen.
Yeah.
So there was a rumor she was divorced. Okay, the second guy has to be a kohen for this to work.
This lady,
to be an issue.
She was into Kehanim, this lady, right? So she first and the second, yeah, 100%. So, but you're gonna end up being mitzi las on the first kiss. Where it says, "Kivin the mashani who the mafkin law." So I'm sorry, "Kivin the mishani who the mafkin law." Since all we're doing is we're making her leave the second husband, but we never said when she had the first marriage that she has to leave the first husband. So what people are going to say is that they actually got divorced right before he died, right? And therefore, people are going to think mistakenly, people are going to think, oh, the reason why. Oh, sorry. The reason they say this. The reason. Let me put on the phone. The reason is going to say that the reason why. Is that clear? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we hear you. You're frozen on the screen, but we hear you.
Yes, that's why I'm on the phone. Okay, good. So anyway, so the reason why people are going to think that they got divorced from the second wife is because they're thinking that she got divorced a minute before he died. So people are going to think, they're not going to think that the first kids are halalim. They're not going to think the first kids are halalim. They're going to think that the first marriage, there was a divorce right before before she became an almana, right? And therefore, that's why they have to get divorced from the second husband. Yeah. Fine. Okay, so that's sugya. Okay, now we start this sugya, which I don't know if anybody had a chance to look into this, but I can't understand this next Gemara here. But okay, we'll try it. Go see that the earlier Dairas are not like our Dairas. Dairas are Rishonim Beishamai. The Dairas are Rishonim Beishamai. Dairas Achronim Reb Daisa. And the Dairas Achronim, he means the door of Reb Daisa. What's going on? Here's the Tanya Shvuya. A Shvuya. Now normally we think that a Shvuya is a woman who was captured. So when they're captured by Goyim, the assumption is that the Goyim are obviously not behaving with them. So Beishamai said that once a Kohen, if his wife gets captured, or his daughter, so we're afraid that there was a znus there because they were captured by Goyim and the Goyim are going to be mizana with them. So Mamela, once they become a zayna, they're puzzled from eating truma. Right? So by Beishamai, they said that what is it? No, I'm sorry. Right. So Reb Daisa held that a woman is allowed to eat truma. Why? So let's say the Tanya Shvuya Eichelas b'truma. They were Reb Daisa. Amar Reb Daisa v'chima also la arvizeh. Because what did this Arab do already? Shemiach la bein dodeh pasum in a kahuna is the reason. All he did was rub her, right? Or miach means to rub her, but by her chest, by her breast. That's making pasum from the kahuna. Beishamai held that we have to be cautious that there was a znus. And Reb Daisa is saying, nah, they they just abused them. Let's call it that. So Mamela, since they don't actually have intercourse. So if they don't actually have intercourse, therefore she's no longer a zayna. Good, there might have been some improper touching, but all it was touching. So Mamela, we're not choshed that they were actually mezana. Right? Well, what happened to Lashon Naki here? With this Gemara? I mean, yesterday's Gemara, the Gemara didn't want to say the word zayna. Right? And here it's using this terminology.
Well, he's trying to say something that they didn't rape them.
So why couldn't he just say the words that we assume that they don't actually have an intercourse? Or something, there's no actual bia. Right?
Because then Rashi'd have to explain. Then Rashi'd have to explain what that means.
Well, all Rashi explains it here too. He just says that they entertained themselves with her, and we're not quite sure that he was boil her. That's all he says. Which we've said many times. Unfortunately, this is what the guys that are mefata ishes nowadays. So what they do is they'll do everything but to have a meises nus. Like this, the ladies don't have to get divorced from their husbands, if the husband so chooses to keep on the lady. Right? The same thing with the single girls and the single guys. You know, they're messing around. They just don't have intercourse. Like this, the girl stays a basula and she doesn't have any issues. Right? So that's okay, whatever it is. But that's essentially what happened here. Yeah, fine. So that's the first Gemara. So that's what he's saying, that our dar is more makel than the previous dar. Fine. Come and see that there's no the Daras Rishon are not like Daras Achayim. Daras Rishon machnita perisein derech traksiman. Let's just do a little hakdama here. The din is that when you bring the chumas and the meisers, so you have to, if you bring it in through the front door, then right when you bring it in the door, it becomes meiserable, meiser and chuma. But based on the pasuk, it said it has to come through the front door. If you sneak it into the house, not through the front door, like let's say through the skylight, that's the classic case. So if it goes through the skylight, since the chumas and meiser didn't enter the house through the door, right? Since it didn't enter the house through the door, it's part of from chumas and meiser. So saying that the previous didn't want to.
If you put it in your warehouse, you don't have to give chumas and mice if you put it into your warehouse.
No, I thought a warehouse is considered a house.
Oh, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a house. Yeah. Meaning into a building, as opposed to leaving it in the field. In the field, when you're in the field, you're allowed to eat. You're allowed to snack on your fruits and vegetables.
I understand that.
Right.
What?
Right. Once it goes into a building or a silo. Silo is the right word.
It goes into the house in the back door. You're potter. So
Correct.
What's the back door of a warehouse? It has a door where you buzz people in who deliver you ties, and you have a back door where tractor trailers go in that carry 50 ton of tfuah.
Right.
What's the back door?
It's a good question. I hear it's I don't know. Is that considered the front door? I don't know.
That's not the back door because that's the normal way for it to go in.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. But if that's the way everything goes in,
the back door might be the front door now because the front door is just where the workers come in, but they don't actually bring any product in there.
Who says bring? So who's right. So what?
Because that's the way. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the silo goes in the top, not in the front.
A silo goes through the top, Taka. Does it or through the bottom? Through the top?
Top.
So does the silo count?
Yeah, but that's the front door of a silo, is the top.
Yeah, that's the derech. We always go by the derech. You have a big warehouse, the derech is whatever it is, the front door is the front door. And you got to sneak out the back door that's only for the personnel. You would say that's not where the normal way to bring your tvuah in. It's how your tvuah enter the bias, not how the workers enter the bias or leave the bias. Or, it's how
you're right. Anyways, okay, good. So anyway, the Daras Rishonim didn't pull the shtick. they brought the fruits in the front door. Kedei l'chaim ma'aser.
That was my next question. My next question. Which doiros did the shtick? The earlier doiros or the later shtick? The later doiros.
We're saying that the later, right? So, doiros ha'achronim machnisim peresein derech gagas v'derech kafifas, but the later doiros, they want to pull shtick, so they bring in the chumas and maaseh through the gagos and kafifas, right? And kedei l'podrim and a maaseh in order to make them potter from Meiser, Domer of Yana, ain't a tevel, Mischai b'Meiser, that's Europe Neabayis. It has to see the face of the house. The Nemar B'Yarti HaKodesh Ben Abayis, that he says that when a person is talking about when he did all, he's not Vida, but he's just saying the Psukim, that he did everything. He says B'Yarti HaKodesh Min Abayis. That took all the Kodesh, right, the Chumas and Meisers from the house. Even a chotzer is kaveya. So Rabbi Yochanan disagrees. He holds that a chotzer is kaveya. And you eat it in your gates and you be full. Right. So therefore, he holds that it's not going to help to take it in through the back or through the sunroof or whatever, the skylight. That's not going to help, because once you bring it through into the chotzer, that's enough to be mechayev. Fine.
How did the Doris Achroinos figure it out to do all this shtick? And the Doris Rishonos, they couldn't figure out how to make a shtick?
They could. The shtick is out there, but they didn't want to use a shtick because they're not looking for coolers.
Correct. They weren't looking
Doris
for
and
coolers.
Rishonim are not looking for coolers. They're looking to do the right thing, and then the coolers are always there.
You can't say the Doris Achroinos didn't do the right thing. They just did a shtick.
They did their shtick,
Good,
and the
so
shtick
that's
is
what
what
he
he
was
means. And they didn't get the light to their
Rachamim,
product.
after the Kahanim moved to Hawaii, they said, I'm gonna give that guy truma. He's body surfing, and I'm gonna give him truma. I'm not giving him no truma. I'll figure out a way not to give him truma.
Okay, now I got it.
Although technically, it's for Meiser, not for Truma.
Technically, yeah. But I'm trying to figure out, sometimes what kind of shtick we do nowadays? We used to do that. Nowadays we do shtick. There must be a lot of examples of this.
All the Jewish accountant. They figure out loopholes not to pay taxes. These are the first Jewish. The Tzaddikim Rishonim didn't have good accountants.
Right, no, I hear. Yeah. No, but there's something like, you're right, you do shtick. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, there used to be a song that they sang by Chasnas Torah, Yisharim V'Veirachim. Didn't last
Acapella.
very long.
What about
The Yisharim
acapella?
part.
What about acapella?
Yeah, stick for the 3 weeks. The 3 weeks in Spirit.
Acapella, that's true, but I believe that our dar is much better than the previous dars for a sfira. We are much more meister nefesh for it than the old dars. Right? When did they listen to music 500 years ago? When did they take showers? They didn't have showers 5 feet.
Wait a minute. I remember as a kid, there was no chas in the adult sphere. Right? Now all of a sudden there's chas in the adult sphere.
Not the whole sphere, but
the whole, literally, except 10 days.
Correct, but that's because it's a tzarech. But I'm just saying that stamazai.
You're giving a reason, which could be true, but it's.
I'm just saying of our Gemara. That's what I'm saying. Nowadays, our dar is. I can't say we're more machmer than the previous dar, but certainly machmer. Still, meaning it's a bigger nisayon. That's all. It's a bigger nisayon for our dar. You can't deny it.
Right.
But right, it's not. We're not being. You're right, and out to that, we're being more makel. 100%. We are being more makel. Yeah. Okay. Right. So Dr. Mishnah. Now we get back to get Yoshim, which is again that once a couple has the get, then they're together again. So then the get, well, it's going to be a machlokes b'sham v'sil, but the get is nullified. Because we're afraid that if they slept with each other again after they got divorced, the husband did it to have in mind to marry her. In which case they remarried again, even though there's no tuba, there's no anything. Since they already married once before, once they're together, we're chayshid that he had in mind not to just be mizana with her, he actually had in mind to marry her. So he divorced his wife, similar to the case he said before about her. Now they're living next door to each other, right? Or whatever, they're living in the same hotel. The Shammai says you don't need to get sheni. We're not chayshis that they were together. The Silla says they do need, because we're afraid that they were mezana, not mezana. Oh yeah, I guess mezana, and they did it for the tasa, getting married. But when is this? That's only when they got divorced, once they were fully married. But they agree. Hillel says that if they only got divorced from Erusin, that they don't need to get sheni. Why? So since he never slept with her, because he only can sleep with your wife after the second stage of marriage, after Nisuin.
What
So
about in
therefore-
Yehuda? What about in Yehuda?
Guys, I don't know what they would do about this in Yehuda. I don't know, because in Yehuda, they did, even though they weren't supposed to, but they did, right? But here, we're not chayshid that he slept with her. Why? Because he was never with her before. So Mamela, it's not. We're not chayshid that he actually would sleep with her. Fine. Okay, so again, so the machlokes b'sham v'zilul, we're chayshid that a couple goes to a hotel after they're divorced if they slept with her, if they slept together, and the Mamela, the guy had in mind to be marrying her. We had this a bunch of blood ago. The whole machlokes between b'sham v'zilul was when they actually saw them having relations on some base. The Beishamai Sabri, otherwise to be lost nus. Beishamai says a person's bia, he's making his bia's nus. He wasn't doing it to get married. Zil Sabri ain't otherwise to be lost nus. A person doesn't sleep with a woman for his nus, then and therefore we're chayshah that they meant to get married. But if they didn't actually see them have relations, then Divrei Akol and it's get sheni. Everybody holds that you don't need to get sheni. That's the first way of understanding it. It says Tanan, but then we learned in Mishnah, Moedim Bishin is Kashim and Edison. They still have Moed if they were divorced only from when they were engaged. That they don't need to get sheni. Sheni by gospel, because his heart is not literally means stick with her, but meaning since he never slept with her before, so we're not supposed to sleep with her now. And if you're talking about where they actually, it only has a machlokes when they see each other, when they actually see them having relations. Mali min ha'irisin or mali min ha'nasuin. So what's the difference if they had relations with? What's the difference if it was when they got married or for when they were engaged? Right? They saw them being mazana. So how can it? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. So when it says Ella, masnisa b'shaloi ruach shenivla, the Mishnah is talking about where they didn't see them have actual relations. Rabbi Yochanan Damar Ki Tana. Rabbi Yochanan is going with the Tana Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. There's no machlokes with Shami V'Hillel if they didn't see them sleep with each other. That they don't need get sheni. The machlokes is if they actually do see each other sleeping. The Shami says the guy will make his bias nus. He did not have in mind for them to get married. The Hillel says he does not make his bias into bias nus. So then the Gemara says it must listen to in our Mishnah, which was saying there's a machlokes with Shammai is when they didn't actually see them have relations. But my pligi, what's the machlokes? The ika ede yichud veleka ede bia. The machlokes is when, let's say you have edim that they were meyached, that the couple was alone, and this goes for all cases, but they did not have bia. You don't have edim that they had bia. So B'Shamai Sabri, we don't say that Eidei Yichud and Eidei Bia are the same thing, because since the Eidim didn't see them sleep with each other, so therefore Therefore, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. The ones that the Adam saw them being meyachid, so then that means that we assume that they had bia. And if they had bia, then we're assuming that they had bia in order to get married, and therefore they're going to need another get. But when they got divorced from being engaged, what we call engaged, they don't need to get sheni. Why? To keep it, they leave a gaspa, since he's not, his heart is not thick with her. We don't say hein ede bia. Normally, we say hein ede yichud, hein ede bia. Here, because they were only engaged, we don't say hein ede bia. You want to ask me, Rabbi Yochanan, how did Rabbi Yochanan really say this? Rabbi Yochanan, Allah is a stam mishnah. The Allah is like a stam mishnah. And we said that our mishnah told where they didn't see her have bia. Right? So how can you say that Rabbi Yochanan is talking about where it did see? So the one answers, I'm right. No, I'll leave it to Rabbi Yochanan. It's a machlokes Amarayim about what Rabbi Yochanan said. Right? Yeah, so therefore, you can, meaning we don't, because we have a stira in what Rabbi Yochanan said, therefore we're going to say that two Amirayim having a machlokes is what he really said. Fine. Now we have a different thing, which is something called a get kireach, which literally means a bald get, but basically when a Kayanim were hot-headed, right? So they were afraid that a Kayan just off the cuff.
More than other people?
Yes. Kahanim, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's what they say. Kahanim were hot-headed. So since they were worried about Kahanim being hot-headed, the guy gets upset at his wife and goes to a cipher and starts writing again. So what they wanted to do is, the problem is that when a Yisrael divorces his wife, he can go back and remarry her, no problem. A Kohen, once he divorces his wife, that's it. The game's over. They can't get remarried. So we're afraid that this guy is just having a knee-jerk reaction. So what we want to do is we want to solve him. What they basically did was make a fold in the get, and on each fold of the get, they would have Adam sign on that fold. And that, like this, would stall the get, and then the guy might come to his senses and say, you know what, it ain't so bad. Therefore, I'm not going to divorce him. So the problem is,
what, the extra 6 minutes is the extra 6 minutes is going to make a difference?
I guess they didn't think too highly of Kahanim, which I tell you. I don't know. That's what it sounds like.
I don't understand. You never wanted to answer an email, and then you said, let me wait 2 minutes, and then you change it? That's what it took me.
I don't know. The decision to megarish my wife, I would think, is a little more serious than waiting 2 minutes to send an email. But I hear what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah, you want to try and stall them as much as you can. Anyway, so the problem. So each fold in the get requires a chasima signature. But what the problem is what happens if the get has some folds in it, but does not have signatures in every fold? So then, what's the status? So Zakta Mishnah, concept of get kereach. That's called a get kereach. It means it's bald. Yeah, so we'll see exactly what it means. Teisei mizeh mizeh. So again, continuing from the previous Mishnah, well, actually not the previous, the one before the previous, which is that when there's a doubtful gittin, and then she gets remarried, so she loses her ksuba, she loses, she has to get a divorce from both of them, etc., etc. Right? So, concept get kirech, teisei mizeh mizeh, v'chol hadrachim ha'eluva, and all the things that we said in the previous Gemaras all apply. Right? Get kireach hakol mashlimin olav. A get kireach is anybody can sign it. Divir banana. That's what banana holds. Meaning you don't normally have to have kosher agent. Here it can be anybody. It could be an eved. It could be a ganev. It can. I don't know about an isha. I don't know. Mustama isha not, but I don't know.
Why not? The whole point is just to take time. It's not an edus.
Right. So the Gemara, right? The reason is like Gershon's saying, who cares who? It's not a real Eidim. You need to have two Eidim, obviously. You need to have two standard Eidim, and then after that, you just use anybody. But on the Gemara doesn't seem to say that an Isha. We'll see in the Gemara. Either way, so anybody can sign it. Relatives can sign on it, but they have to be kosher Eidim in other places. Meaning they can't be Eved, they can't be crooks, they can't all those things. Get kireach. What is a get kireach? There's more. A kesher means a fold. There are more folds in the get than there are eidim. Right? Meaning they folded up the get, but they didn't sign on it. Right? So therefore, that's a get kireach, and it's no good. Okay. So Gemara says, my time is the get kireach. Why is the get kireach possible? Because the reason is because maybe the husband said, I'm making 10 folds in the get. And I want Adam to sign on every one of the folds. So we know from, I forgot how long ago, 2 weeks ago, Sarah, that when the husband says he wants a certain amount of getting, he wants a certain amount of things, then you have to keep it. So if you don't have it, then it's no good. Fine. So the Gemara says, get kireach v'kol mashlimin alav. So anybody can sign on it. But Rabbi Kiva, Eved, my time aloi. So how come Rabbi Kiva doesn't allow it? Eved, meaning Banana says anybody can sign. Rabbi Kiva says, no, only relatives can sign, but they have to be kosher leidus, which means he holds an Eved can't sign. So also Lamema kosher leidus. If you're going to allow an Eved, Rabbi Kiva's concerned, if you're now allow an Eved to sign on it, then people are going to say, hey, an Eved can sign on the star, and they're not going to know that an Eved is a special type of star. So Karam Nami also Lamema kosher leidus. So okay, so why does Rabbi Kiva allow a relative? People are going to also say, hey, relatives can sign on star. An Eved, people are going to say, oh, he signed on a star, he must not be an Eved, he must be a regular Yid. Gazlan, the Bar Yuchsin, who Liskasha. So then according to that, a Gazlan who has Yichus, meaning he's considered a Yid, even though it's a crook, so he should make a kosher. He should be kosher. Allah Tanan. How can we learn? Rabbi Kiva, only kroivim that are right to say Eidos someplace else. Karav in a relative, yes, a gazlan light. So basically, what's going on with Rabbi Kiva? Why does he answer some and not answer all of them? Right? So Ella Eved hainu time with us l'meima shechuri shacharei. And if an Eved signs on it, so then we're going to be chayshed that he freed the Eved. That's why we're allowing him to get. Gazlanami, also remember tshuva of it. The Gazlan, people are going to say, oh, he must have done tshuva. And therefore they're going to start using him for regular edus. Karav Ma'ikil, remember, what about a Karav? Karav, Kuli Amayad is a Karav who by a relative, everybody knows he's a relative. You're going to say like, hey, this guy is signing on his brother's get. Must be there's something strange about it. Nobody's going to think that a Karav can sign on a get. Fine. Amar Rav Zeir, Amar Rabba Bar Shilte, Amar Rav Amnuna Saba, Amar Rav Ada Bar Ava, get Kerech, Kashar of Shiva, Ve'ed of Shisha. It's talking about where they had 7 folds, but only 6 Eidim. Shisha, Ve'ed of Chamisha, 6, and 5 Eidim. Chamisha, Ve'ed of Arba, 5 and 4. Arba, Ve'ed of Shloisha. Ad Kan, Machlaikis Benanas Rabbi Kiva. So from 7 and on down to 3, that's a Machlaikis. Kashar of Shloisha, Ve'ed of Shnai. Let's say get was 1 second. If only get was only folded into 3, and there were only 2 Eidim, then Divrei Hakol Ein Mashlimin Olav El Karav. Then everybody holds that only a Karav could sign on the get. Eved or a Gazlan cannot. What are you saying?
Does Ve'edav mean sets of Eidim, or only 1 Eid signs per fold?
I wasn't sure. Sounds like you need 2. Right? No? Can't hear me? Nobody could hear me? Could hear me? Yeah. Isn't Eid of plural?
I can hear you.
Isn't Eid of plural?
Oh. Eidav is his Adam. It's plural.
The Eidav is Shisha, the Eidav Chamisha. It's 5 witnesses.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that
say.
would mean 5 Eidim, usually. not 5 Adiyos.
Doesn't say Adios or Adim. It says Ve'edav.
It's Adim. That means the Adim signed on the get is 5.
One per
That's the way
line.
you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Usually it's 2. I thought it was 2. But this is mashma, it's 1 per fold.
Oh, I thought this is in addition to the 2 witnesses that signed the get.
It is. But how many Adim do you sign per fold? I thought until now it was 2 Adim per fold. This is
I
mashma, 1
wasn't
Adim
sure if
per
it's
fold.
Yeah, I thought it was 1/8 per fold. That's what I thought.
If it was one, it would say a doy, no? A doy.
Not sure.
It's very rare because we say our sky made from so Satan, Yakum Dover. So there's always, so we're always thinking 2, but Lamaisa, if it was only 1, it would say a doy. A dove is mashma at least 2.
Right, unless you say like Avi, that covers all the witnesses. Okay, I'm not sure.
Well,
Fine, let's see what. Again, we're going just to rehash. What we said is that if you have 7 folds, 6 folds, 5 folds, 4 folds, so those are bonus folds. That's where they have a machlokes, whether an Eved and a Gazan can sign. But if there's only 3 folds and 2 Adim, then everybody holds that an Eved and a Gazan cannot sign. Right, right, 3 are like 2. Meaning if you're having a get kereach, that means you have to have, or this folded get, you have to have at least an additional 8. That means it's a minimum. Right? Mahasam karav loy. So then if that's the case, that's the minimum amount. So just like by a get where there's a standard get which requires 2 Adim, you can't have relatives. Avochanami karav loy. So here too you shouldn't allow a karav. Same question. The Rav Adavarav, Amalei, the Shloisha, the Mekusha, the Lav Deraisa. Don't do anything about the Mekusha. Don't worry about it because it's not a Deraisa. You don't only need that extra age for the Rabbanon. So if it's the Rabbanon, leave it. It could be anybody. Tani Namiachi, get Kireach Sharav Shiva, Ve'ed of Shisha, Shisha Ve'ed of Chamisha, Chamisha Ve'ed of Rabba, Arba Ve'ed of Shloisha, Adkan Machloikes Bananas of the Kiva. Hishlam of Eved, right? Because somebody can use a Eved. Banana Simon a black kosher, then the Vlad, if they use an Eved, Banana says the black kosher, will keep Simon a Vlad Mam. That's from 7 down to 6, 5, and 4. Havak of Shlosh of Eid of Shnayim, but if the case where it's folded over 3 and the Eidim is 2, Divrei Hakol, Ein Mashlim Alav, El Karav, you can only use a Karav. Fine. Rav Yosef Masni Kosher. Rav Yosef taught in the Mishnah, he didn't learn the word Karav. He learned the word kosher. You have to use a kosher aid. So I want to ask about Tanya Karav, but the Mishnah says Karav. Yeah, so Amar Papa, Tanya kosher. No, he learned the word kosher. Right? Yeah. Okay, it's late, so let's stop here, even though we'll finish the parak tomorrow. As Hashem, so we can make the l'chaim tomorrow. All right. A good tavach, a good yar, and the